Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga Live. My name is Deanna. I'm the Director of the Wellness Department at Kevon in Buffalo, New York. And today I'm going to lead you through a nice, easy, breezy 30-minute beginner yoga session. It's super hot outside, so make sure you are hydrated and really listen to your body. You don't need to go too fast today. Let's really just work our bodies out, stretch it out, and we'll have a really good time. So find a nice, comfortable space in your apartment or your house, wherever you're staying at, and have enough room, and have either a yoga mat or a soft surface, such as a rug or some kind of carpeting. So that would be great. And we'll get started. So let's start in child's pose. So come onto your hands and your knees. Bring your big toes together to touch. Sit your glutes down on the top of your heels, extend your arms out in front of you, and place your forehead down on the mat. And just check in with your mind and check in with your body. Aim to let go of any thoughts or to-do lists, or what may have happened before class or what awaits you after class, as it's not here to serve you. And take this time to be in the present moment and focus on yourself and calm your thoughts and listen to your body. What parts of your body feel open and fluid? And what parts of your body feel more open and loose? We could use this knowledge to help address in the rest of our sequence. I may not follow you entirely throughout the duration of class, but just listen to my cues for proper alignment. Focus on your breath, the inhales and exhales through the nose, filling up your chest and filling up your belly, feeling the expansion of your intercostal muscles and the expansion of your belly. Exhale through the nose and feel your belly soften and your chest fall in. Softening your eyes, really relaxing your muscles down to the mat with each exhale. And take this time to make a dedication or an intention for your practice. It could be a mantra, which is a phrase or a word that resonates with you and your values, or something you're trying to work on, whether it's physical or mental. And we can always return to our breath as well as these intentions and dedications to keep our heads on straight and to remember the importance of today's practice, which is the cessation of the mind and letting go of unnecessary thoughts. Ujjayi breaths we will partake in the rest of our class, which are inhales and exhales through the nose with a slight constriction on the back of the throat with the exhale. It could be audible or it could be silent, as if you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed. Nothing forced, making your breaths fluid and fall right next to one another. Take one inhale through the nose, and on exhale, walk your hands over to the right of the mat. Your hands will come off the mat, feeling lateral flexion in the left side body. Stack your left hand over your right hand and apply gentle pressure to feel more opening of the left side body, stretching up and out of the waist through your fingertips. With each inhale, lengthening up and out of the waist. And each exhale, relaxing your muscles and falling deeper into your mat. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. And on your exhale, walk your hands over to the left side of the mat, stacking your right palm over your left. Applying gentle pressure on the top of your left hand, feeling the stretch in the right side of the body. Each inhale, lengthening up and out of the waist through the fingertips.
And each exhale, falling a little bit deeper, relaxing your muscles and releasing down. Breathing in all the positive energy, letting go of any negativity that may have arisen in your thought processes. Walk your hands back to center. And come up to your tabletop, stacking your shoulders over your wrists, hips right over the knees. Find a neutral pelvis, neutral spine. For cow-cat, inhale, open the chest up to the front of the room. Let your belly fall and your tailbone reach up. Exhale, press the mat away from you, round the spine. Bring your chin to your chest, opening the backside body. Inhale, cow. Opening your chest, heart space, the front of the room. Exhale, press the earth away from you, come into cat. Rounding the spine, belly hollows, and looking at your navel. And go at your own pace. Each inhale, coming to cow, opening the chest to the front of the room, reaching your tailbone to the sky. And exhale, cat, pressing the earth away from you, rounding your spine, and bringing your chin to your chest, tailbone reaches to the floor. Feel free to bring any organic movement here, whether you want to do some C curves, working the obliques, the abdominals, by bringing your left shoulder to your left hip and the right shoulder to the right hip, looking over your right shoulder and left shoulder. We're working through the hips, rocking down and back up to tabletop. Or just letting your head and neck hang heavy, looking side to side, rolling out the neck, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, addressing any places that feel a little tense. Remember, this is your practice. I'm just your guide to help you explore your body and what it can do. Bring your left hand in the middle of your mat and inhale your right arm all the way up to the sky for a twist. Look at your right thumb. And exhale, brush your right arm down gently to meet your left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm all the way back up to the ceiling. Fingers spread out wide. Bring your eye gaze towards your right thumb. And exhale, brush the right hand gently down to meet the left. Inhale, reach your right arm back up to the sky. Hold here. Inhale, up. And lengthen your crown to the front of the room. And on an exhale, thread the needle. Send your right hand through the space between your left wrist and your left knee, placing your right shoulder down on the mat with your palm facing up towards the ceiling. Placing your left hand by your face, hold in front of you, or wrapping it around, bringing your hand to the right hip crease for a bind to open up the chest. Send your hips over to the right, just to square your hips. Feel more of an opening of your right shoulder blade. And you can play around with the weight of the torso to find the most beneficial opening for your shoulder. Place your left hand to frame the face. And inhale the right arm all the way back up to the ceiling. To reset the spine, go ahead and do some arm circles in one direction. And then reversing the direction a few times. Placing your right hand to meet the left. Swapping out the left for the right. Placing your right hand in the middle of your mat, meeting at heart center. Inhale your left arm all the way up to the ceiling with your eye gaze up. And exhale, brush the left hand down gently to meet the right. Inhale, peel open the left arm all the way up. Exhale, brush the left arm down. One more, inhale the left arm all the way up to the ceiling. Chin in line with your shoulders, stay here. Inhale, lengthen from the crown to the wall in front of you. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, thread the needle. Send your arm to the right of the room with your palm facing up. Plant your shoulder on the mat, placing your right hand by your face, out in front of you. Or if you went for a bind, go ahead and Wrap your arm around your backside body, placing your fingertips in the left hip crease, squaring the hips by sending your hip points to the left, feeling more of a stretch in the back body. Really focusing on each breath. Place your right hand to frame the face. Inhale the left arm back up to the ceiling. Go ahead and do some arm circles in one direction, 2 or 3 times, and reversing the direction. Placing your left hand to meet the right. Come on to your hands and your knees and tuck the toes behind you. Spreading your fingers out wide, press into your mat and puff up the space in between your shoulder blades. More as if you're rounding to cat. So you want to press the earth away from you, protract the shoulders. Retraction is letting the shoulders come up and your torso sinking in, and we don't want that. We want to protract by pressing into our fingertips and puffing up the space right in between our shoulder blades. Rounding the spine, squeezing our abs, and now we're going to tuck our toes. Inhale. Exhale, slightly hover your knees and inch off the mat. Round that spine, squeeze your abs as if you're in cat pose. Keep your tailbone reaching down. And on an exhale, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. This is the first downward facing dog of class. So go ahead and pedal it out. Walk the dog. You can rock your hips side to side, making sure that your hips are all the way up to the ceiling. And you really press the earth away from you and bring your torso and belly towards the top of your thighs, keeping your heels down on the earth. And your feet should be about hip width distance apart. Let your head and neck hang heavy. Aim to not look in any direction so you can fully relax your spine. Wrap your triceps back by pressing into your hands and screwing to either the right or the left, depending on which finger. And breathe. Inhale, lift your heels to the sky, come onto your tippy toes, straighten your legs, and take tiny baby steps all the way to your hands. And as you get closer to your hands, get more weight in your fingertips, and separate your feet hip width distance apart or wider for a forward fold. You can come into ragdoll, which you all are familiar with if you've been watching my videos, grabbing onto either elbows and letting your belly really fall on the top of your thighs, bending the knees deeply and letting your head and neck hang heavy. If you want to go ahead and try interlacing your hands on the backside body, bringing your palms together to touch if that's accessible to you. Then keep your knees bent deeply and bringing your hands up and in front of you, right over your head. Making sure you're really pressing the palms together as if you're gluing your shoulder blades together to really open up the front side body, since we're always sitting and hunching all day. Letting your cheeks fall forward, relaxing your facial muscles. Move side to side, whatever feels good. Then release your hands down at your sides. Heel toe your feet together. Inhale, hands to your shins, come up to a halfway lift. Coming up halfway, straight spine, lengthen your neck forward. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, flat spine on the way down, slight bend in the knees. And on an inhale, rise slowly, letting your hands and arms hang down. And begin to stack each vertebrae on top of each other as slow as you can, squeezing your legs together and slowly bringing your eye gaze up.
Roll your shoulders up and away from your ears a few times. And reverse the direction. Bring your shoulders up and forward. Keeping your shoulders down and away from the ears. Bring your legs together. Reach your tailbone down. Bring your belly up and in. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Chin is level to the floor. Eye gaze straight ahead for Tadasana. Your feet should be together. And you can start to bring each one of your toes up to find your center. And then slowly bring your toes down. Squeezing your glutes together, squeezing everything up and in towards the midline. Inhale your arms up overhead. And on an exhale, slightly bring your hips forward as you bring your eye gaze towards the back wall for a slight mini back bend and a heart opener. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Really lead with the chest as you send your hip points forward. Only go as far as your body tells you. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, forward fold. Hands come together at heart center. Flat spine on the way down, hinging at the hips. Releasing your hands down, bringing your nose to your knees. Inhale, hands to your shins for a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down and step into plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your heels right over your toes. Bring your legs together and your glutes together. You really want to squeeze the lower half as well as your abs and press the earth away from you, like I said, to puff up the space in between the shoulder blades as if you're rounding for cat. And on an exhale, send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Let's take a cleansing breath together to release some heat. Inhale through the nose, filling up the biggest inhale of the day. Hold at the top. Wide open mouth, exhale it out. Return to your normal breaths in and out through your nose. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Flex your right foot so your toes are facing down and your heel point is facing straight ahead towards the ceiling. On your exhale, come into a low lunge. Plant your right foot in between your hands and lower your left knee down on the mat. Rock your hip points back and forth by straightening your right leg in half split and bending your right knee over your right ankle, sending your left hip point forward and feeling your stretch. And take as many rock and rolls as you need. And go ahead and stack your right knee over your right ankle. Plant your left hand on the inside of your right foot and reach your right arm all the way up to the sky, sending your right knee towards your left shoulder and bringing your chin towards your right shoulder so that your eye gaze is right at your thumb. And send your right hip back and your left hip point forward so that your right hip isn't hiked up. You want to really keep it down and parallel to the mat. On an exhale, plant your right hand to frame the right foot and come into a crescent lunge. So tuck the left toes behind you and lift your left leg up so that it's parallel to the mat. And it's more of a runner's lunge. Crescent lunge, we're going to be stacking our torso, but we're going to stay low here, keeping our left leg parallel so that our knees lifted off the mat. And now place your left hand to frame the right foot and reach it all the way up to the ceiling. Really squeeze your legs together. Keep that right hip point down and the left hip point forward, reaching the right arm all the way up. Exhale, plant your right hand to frame the right foot and inhale the right foot all the way up and back for tail of the dog, which is a one-legged downward facing dog. Bend your right knee
And open your hips to the right, sending your right heel towards your right glute. And maintaining your traditional downward facing dog in your upper body. So keeping your shoulders in one line, you may have to close the right armpit door so that you level out your shoulders in one line as well as your torso. Go ahead and do some hip circles, only using the hip flexor. Try not to use any other muscle in your body. Slow and controlled. You're going to hear some cracks and sticky places, but that's all good things. Reach your right foot all the way back. Flex your foot so that your heel points up straight towards the ceiling, and then lower your right foot. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Flex the toes towards your face. And on exhale, low lunge. Send your left foot in between your hands. Lower the right knee down on the mat and rock forward and back from half split by straightening the left leg and moving your hips back. And moving your hips forward in low lunge, stacking your left knee over your left ankle, never going past the toes. Feeling the stretch in your hip flexors and your hamstrings. Working out whatever is needed to help you move throughout the day, reduce pain. The more consistent you are, you'll really feel the beneficial effects. Place your left knee over your left ankle and place your right hand on the inside of your left foot. Inhale, the left arm all the way up to the sky. Bring your chin parallel, or in the same line, of your shoulder. Reaching your fingertips all the way up. Keeping that left hip point down and the right hip point forward so that our leg is parallel to the mat. Then exhale, plant your left hand to frame the left foot. Tuck your right toes beneath you and lift your right kneecap off the mat and straighten your leg for runner's lunge. Placing your right hand on the inside of your left foot and doing the same motion of a twist, reaching the left arm all the way up to the ceiling, aiming to keep that left knee close to the right shoulder, squeezing your legs together. Breathe. Exhale, plant your left hand to frame the left foot and breathe the left foot up and back for tail of the dog. Bend the left knee and open your hips to the left side of the room, sending your left heel towards your right or left glute, keeping the traditional downward facing dog upper body. So you see that my left arm is left armpit's open. We really want to close it so that we're facing all the way down and we're in one line with our shoulders. And go ahead and do some hip circles in one direction. And reversing the direction. You could take as big or as small circular movements as you want, as it's a ball and socket joint. So that's the widest range of motion. And breathe your left foot all the way back up. Heel faces towards the ceiling. And lower your left foot down. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hips, leading with the chest on the way down. Inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up. Hands don't come together, leave them apart, and pinkies face in towards each other. Sit your hips down and back for chair pose, beginning of sun B. Belly up and in, reach your tailbone down. Look down at your toes and make sure that they're still visible. As you sit a little bit lower, open your chest to the front of the room. Chin is parallel to the floor. Breathe in. Exhale, sit a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Flat spine on the way down. Bringing your nose to your knees with a slight bend in your knees to protect your kneecaps. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down. Step into your downward facing dog or move through your flow if you're more advanced, which is chaturanga to upward facing dog or cobra. Coming back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Heel faces towards the ceiling. Exhale, warrior one. Step your right foot in between your hands. Keep that right knee stacked over that right ankle. Keep it the right leg bent, and now straighten the left leg, but put your left heel down on the mat. You'll have to step your left foot out a little bit away from your right foot so that it's staggered, so that your heels are not in one line. You want your left toes angled at the top left corner of your mat. Keep that right hip back and that left hip point forward. And inhale your arms up overhead, biceps to ears. Remember to square your hips to the front of the room, so you shouldn't be in a warrior two or something like that. You don't want to keep open, you want it closed so that your hip points are straight ahead. If you can't, then you may have to move your left foot out or more in. Inhale your arms up overhead, pinkies face in towards each other. Keep that right knee bent. Keep that left heel planted. Exhale, plant your hands down to frame the right foot. Step into your downward facing dog or move through your flow. Inhale, lift the left heel up, facing up towards the ceiling. Exhale, warrior one. Send your left foot in between your hands by hugging your left knee into your body as you come into plank, then stepping your left foot in between your hands. Keep that left knee bent over that left ankle. Plant that right heel down and angle the right toes at the top right corner of your mat. Like I said, you may have to step your right foot out a little bit to the right. Send that left hip point back and the right hip point forward, and inhale your arms up overhead. Warrior one. Keeping your hips square to the front of the room. Your left knee should never go past the left toes. Inhale up and out of the waist. Exhale, plant your hands to frame the left foot. And move through your flow or come into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels and take tiny steps all the way to your hands. Keep those legs straight and that belly tight. And come into gorilla pose. I always say alligator, some animal. So tuck your hands under your feet and place your toes to meet the wrist crease so that you don't really put any pressure on the hands. And just let your head and neck hang heavy. And you can bend your knees deeply for this. And you can work to straighten the legs as you gain more comfortability and flexibility. Really feeling the stretch in the backside body as well as your hamstrings. Release your hands from your feet and come down onto the mat on your knees. We revisited camel last week, so we'll do it again today. So stack your hips right over your knees. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can always lay down on your back and do something that feels good for you. If this doesn't feel good, you can just, you can come into child's pose. That's always the best way to go. So stacking your hips over your knees. Bring your hands right above the glutes and below your lower back. Send your hip points forward. And start to bring your eye gaze towards the wall behind you. Try to glue your elbows in towards each other. As you open your chest forward, your hip points send forward. You could grab onto the backs of your heels, but if this isn't accessible to you, don't even try it. This is just for more advanced, and this is what you would be working up to. Letting your head just fall behind you, but avoid any crunching. Small and mindful movements. And like I said, just stay here, right? Upright and lifted if you can't reach your heels. Inhale your arms up overhead. And release your arms down at your sides. Extend your legs out in front of you Come onto your sit bones. Flex your toes towards your face. Inhale your arms up right in front of you, spreading your fingers out wide and letting your fingertips come forward as you round the spine and slowly lower down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Really feel your abdominals fire. Inhale your arms up overhead for a full body stretch. And on an exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Feel the stretch in the hip creases. And come into a happy baby for our last pose. If you want to come into a different inversion where you stack your hips over your heart, you can go ahead and do so. But for timely purposes, we're going to come into happy baby. Separate your knees out wide. Grab onto your feet from the inside or the outside. Or if that's not accessible to you, you can grab onto your calves. You can rock side to side to massage the spine. Or alternate your extension of your legs to work into the hamstrings. Bending the left knee and then extending the right. Whatever feels good. Really pressing your feet into your hands and hands into your feet to keep your spine all on the mat. So you don't want to lift your lower back up or your tailbone. Release your legs down. And get ready for Savasana. Palms facing up for receiving or palms facing down for more grounding. I like placing my hand on my heart and one hand on my belly to really redirect my attention to my breath, my dedications, and really connecting each movement with my breath. You can take as much or as little space as you want. Close your eyes. Slow down your breath. Breathe space to the space in between your forehead, corners of your eyes, releasing tension in the mouth and the jaw by slightly parting the mouth and letting the tongue float in the hollow of the mouth. Finding full relaxation. Take the next couple minutes or so to really fully surrender. And I will lead you out once we come to an end. To bring movement back into the body. Little toes, little fingers. Rock your head side to side. Inhale your arms up overhead for a full body stretch, stretching all the way from your fingers down to your toes. And on your exhale, hug your knees tight into your chest, coming to a tight little ball, grabbing onto either elbows or just your forearms. And then rocking over to one side, letting your curves hit the earth while you're in this nice tight hug. And then coming up to a comfortable seat, bringing your hands together, heart center, and bowing in. Taking this moment to surround every dedication and intention with support, light, and love from me and everyone who's joining today. Thank you for letting me guide you today. It's my honor and duty to help you stay in the present moment and to stay positive during this rough time, and remembering your values and who you are and not letting anything or anyone bring you down because you are powerful. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I think it'll be really nice to incorporate, especially during this hot day. So it's nice to really focus on the breath and also get our bodies moving as well. And remember to always come back to your mind and your body whenever things get a little busy and things get a little crazy. So I hope that you enjoyed. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.